welcome to your weekly inspiration. I'm your host, Joey Sampaga.
And I'm Kathy Beckman.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Joey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not so good.
No? How come, Joey?
Because I just can't seem to get enough stuff done.
Is that right?
Things are just getting so much harder in regards to, why do we only have 24 hours in a day?
Well, that's because it takes that long for the Earth to rotate.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. Sorry.
Gosh.
We can't change that, and I don't think we want to change that.
That's true.
However, the difference is that we've got a lot more coming at us every day.
Okay.
If you look way back even to biblical times, they didn't have as much going on every day. Their core focus was survival.
Yes.
Right?
True.
It was making the bread. It was getting the corn out of the fields, milking the cows. Now we have the internet, we have television, we have our cell phones, we're in touch with more people every day. We just have more information being thrown at us in that same single revolution.
So you're telling me that my fancy schmancy cell phone is not going to help me with my 24 hours. It's not going to increase it, is it?
It's not going to increase it. No, I'm sorry. Although, if maybe you figured out a way to not sleep anymore, maybe that'd help you out.
Sure.
That's not what we're here to talk about today.
Exactly.
But I hear so many people saying, why is this so hard? Why am I having such a difficult time? And grasshopper. Very often things are as they should be. I'm hearing more and more people talking about a controversy about how we're raising our children.
Yes, there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of it. From parents doing their children's homework for them, to the kids on the playground where no one wins anymore. There's no losers, there's no winners. And
that's true.
I think that's bad. Think back to when we were kids and we played dodgeball.
Yeah.
I was horrific at dodgeball.
Were you?
Yeah, I was an uncoordinated kid.
And you were tall?
I was tall, I was gawky, I was overweight, I was uncomfortable with myself, I was
So you
shy.
were an easy target.
I was an easy target. I was a big target and a slow-moving target that, quite frankly, wanted to get hit so that I didn't have to play anymore. Hit me first. But you know what? I guess that dodgeball didn't really teach me too much except how to get out of the game. But, we learn from our failures. When we did our own homework and we failed, I was horrific at math there for a while. But we learned from our failures. We learned how to either work harder or work more diligently or get the help we needed, which is what I did in math. I got the help that I needed. And so many kids today aren't having to go through that. Their parents are helping them. There's no winners and no losers. And we need to go through the struggles in life to prepare us for the future.
Absolutely.
Math, I thought when I got out of high school and college I would never have to use that stuff again. What the heck am I going to have to use that stuff for? Well, guess what? I'm in real estate.
That's right. You need to crunch numbers.
Yeah, and so do you. It's like, dang it. And Excel won't do it all for us.
No.
Or if it'll help us, we at least know how to set it up.
That's right.
So when we're going through things and when we're saying it's so hard, there's always a purpose for it. It's all a learning experience. And one of the things, and like I told you earlier, I kind of felt like I was cheating a little bit with today's topic because a year ago, I wrote something very similar. And I wanted to try and put it out there to change our thought process from this too shall pass, which is kind of the indication there is that we kind of just put our head down and let everything go because you know what, it'll pass. If we just sleep it off tonight, it'll pass by.
Sure.
And that's not what happens. We know if we bury our head in the sand, typically situations will only get worse. But if we shift our thinking to this too shall prepare me.
That's right.
Like the homework assignments that we did, like dodgeball, where I guess I did actually learn. I had to get a little bit more physically fit and get the heck out of the way of the ball. But if we think about things that we're going through life and think of it as this too shall prepare me, we can really appreciate what we're going through and maybe look at it and say, we've got lessons that we're going to learn. And we may not know what those lessons are today, but if we look way back, if we look in the rearview mirror, we can see them. I was For many of you out there, you've noticed that I've switched real estate companies.
Yes.
I'm no longer with Keller Williams. Love Keller Williams, love everybody there. But there was gaps in my life. And this opportunity just kind of came up out of the blue, and it seemed to fill all the gaps that I needed. And so I have moved real estate companies, and it's been a very, very positive change. And it was just a couple days ago, I looked in the rearview mirror and I thought, you know, what are the events that kind of led me up to this? And I looked at, and it's really, at least over the last 5 years, there were 5 key pivotal moments in my life and really real turning points that at that moment I was like, man, why am I going through this? Or why am I here? And every one of them led me up to moving to this office. And had I not gone through each one of those, I wouldn't be at this office today. And who knows where my future is, who I'm going to meet at this office, and what that's going to lead me to.
That's right. And you know, failure, speaking of that, you can also succeed to failure.
Okay. And
the reason why I say that is because the situation that we're in, you know about it. The audience doesn't know too much, but we're at my mortgage broker office, we are so successful that we weren't prepared to be that successful, and our customer service actually dropped or dipped. But we were in there, and we took that failure of, oh, why weren't we prepared for it, to, oh, this is how to prepare for it. So we see our failures as feedback.
Right. And learning points.
And learning points, absolutely.
Right, because if we don't fall down, like, of course, okay, again, I'm a big Batman fan. So why do we learn to fall? Why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves up.
Exactly.
And that's what Batman, Bruce Wayne's dad, Thomas Wayne.
Because if you do fail and you just stay there and say,
right,
you're not going to learn anything.
Exactly. Or just bury your head and say it's somebody else's fault.
That's right.
You know, I heard something really interesting one day. They said that if you point your finger at somebody else, you're actually pointing 3 fingers back at yourself.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, and I was like, boy, that's really good. So it's like, and I have a really bad habit of pointing my finger at people.
Really?
But yeah, but I try not to point my finger in that, you know, it's your fault, it's your fault. But think about it. If you point your finger and say it's their fault that I didn't succeed, or it's their fault that I am where I am today, you've got 3 fingers right here.
Pointing right back at you.
Pointing right back at you.
That makes sense. I love it.
So when you're going through these problems and you're going through these troubling times, if you think, you know, this too shall prepare me, I'm learning lessons of where I'm going, which actually leads us, this is going to be a 2-part series.
Yes.
So next week we're going to build on this. And it's building on the Mayan calendar, which, you know, I've mentioned a few times in the past. I'm really interested in the Mayan calendar. In fact, I'm going to a seminar. By the time people see this, I'll be at the seminar.
Okay.
So the Mayan calendar was created a long time ago.
Yes.
Okay. And it's not based on the Gregorian calendar, the turning of the earth and things like that. It's really based on our evolution. And it's interesting because, you know, we're all looking around going, why are we going through so much? Why is this time so troubling? Why is it so hard? But the interesting thing is that many of our ancestors knew that this time in history was going to be a troubling time for us and a turning point, and that we were going to have to prepare ourselves. Some of those ancient civilizations, like the Hopi, the Aztec, the Egyptians, the Mayans, they all pointed to 2012 as a turning point. And, you know, a lot of people hear about the Mayan calendar, and you and I were talking about it a few weeks ago, and I don't know if you remember, one of the first things you said was, yeah, doesn't it end?
Yeah, doesn't the world end in 2012?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big misconception that a lot of people have. And the way I usually answer that is, you know what? Sure, the Mayan calendar ends on December 21st, 2012. But look at our own clock. You know, when it goes around, doesn't it technically end at midnight? That's where there's an ending point. But doesn't it also begin again? It's a cycle. We're all on cycles. So our day ends, but a new day begins, our month, our year. And it's the exact same thing with the Mayan calendar.
So that's midnight.
That's midnight.
Got it.
Except it's not quite as stark and at a specific point as midnight is. But yeah, December 21st, 2012 is just the end of one of our evolutions and the beginning of another. So next week, we're going to go in a little bit more detail about that and how it ties into why take this time. We're learning. It's like we're all in kindergarten right now, and we're learning how to graduate into the first grade.
Sure.
So this too shall prepare me.
Wow.
Yeah. So try and think of that when you're going through the troubles that you're going through.
And stay tuned for next week for the continuation of your weekly inspiration.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.
This is your. This is your. Okay.
So sorry. You threw me totally off.
Did I?